Interestingly enough, how things come together, next month is October, which is Vocational Service Month, and today we're actually having speak to us our chair of vocational service, who really lives his role. Randy Dillinger has been a member of the club for quite some time with Jackson EMC. He's our vocational service chair, but he takes it really to an extreme, a good extreme. Randy is very active in the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. He's on the executive board. He's the vice chair of economic development, and he's the chair of Partnership Gwinnett, which focuses on economic diversification and wealth creation action committee. And as a part of that role, he actually went to China recently with the Gwinnett delegation. And so he's going to talk to us today about that. I think we ought to also just allow this to count as his classification talk. But so Randy, thanks for being with us today.
This is like going to your neighbor's house and watching his vacation videos. I apologize. Particularly if you've been to China before, and I know some of you have. But the Gwinnett Chamber did a global mission trip, as they called it, to China. And the reason behind that was there's a lot of business going on between Gwinnett and China, as it is. And so we see those relationships starting to develop between our county and that country. I don't have to tell you what's going on in China right now. It's just absolutely unbelievable. This communist country has embraced capitalism like there's no tomorrow, and they're investing dollars in our country. But so what we're trying to do by going over there, we're taking governmental officials, we're taking business people from our county there as well to hopefully set up these business relationships where we can do business over there and export. So that was kind of the premise of the trip. What's happened recently was one of those primary companies, and I don't know if you've read about it, but Hisense is a company. It's the largest flat screen TV manufacturer in China. Now, you probably haven't heard of Hisense yet, particularly because they're just not here yet. They're coming. I can just tell you right now. Their goal is to take over the electronic industry in this country. And not only do they make TVs, they make air conditioners, washers, dryers, I mean, any electronic radios. They just haven't figured out a way to come here. They just opened up their first international office up in Swanee in Gwinnett County. They're North American presence here. They're bringing their sales force in. So in building that relationship with those guys, we discovered there's a lot of other businesses that are trying to make those relationships. So the chamber said, you know what, we need to go over there and build those contacts with key individuals in China. Now, when I say key individuals, we're talking about governmental officials. Government owns all the businesses. They have private individuals that may be the president of the company, but to get through him, you've got to go through the governmental official and vice versa. It's to do business in China, you have to do business with the Chinese government. And so we're just in the process, the Gwinnett Chamber is just in the process, again, of building that relationship. And if you know anything about the Chinese culture, that's not something you can do overnight. They live by relationships. And in it that way in most communities, even here, is who you know, it's the relationships you have. Well, it's really strong in China. So this is just the beginning of setting that up. So I just want to show you, I just took some pictures. I got like 500 pictures I'm going to show you here. No, actually, I culled it down to, I don't know, maybe 90. We'll try to get through this thing. Take my watch off so I can pay attention. But there's a lot of pictures of, us standing around holding stuff. So I knew that wouldn't be of interest to you. So I thought I'd just kind of share what I thought might be interesting to you here. And I'm certainly not a technology wizard here. So basically, we left the United States. We left Atlanta nonstop to Seoul, Korea, and basically went over the Alaska and the polar cap, and then basically went over the top of the earth, if you will, to get to China. Of course, we went around North Korea airspace before we went into Seoul, Korea. We didn't want to go across their space here. This is kind of the. We flew into Seoul and had a couple-hour layover, then and caught a plane over to Beijing, and we went to several cities. We started in Beijing, and we went down. The next flight was down to a city called Qingdao. We left Qingdao and went to Shanghai, and then we took a bus ride. Just took a little short spurt over to a town called Wuxi. And then we went down to Hong Kong and Macau. And then, of course, on the way back, we stopped again in a new city called Icheon, which is a suburb of South Korea, and I'll show you some pictures about that. Interesting about Icheon, Icheon was basically the sea. It was the ocean. And they tore a mountain down and pushed it into the ocean and created more land and created a new city. It's an unbelievably new, modern city. If anybody knows our friend Bill Russell, he was on our group there. He just comes along for the entertainment aspect of being with us. But we started in Beijing. If you recall, the 2008 Olympics were in Beijing, and this is the big stadium they built over there for the games. It's